So Melanie Konstantakis-Schwartz is the director of the AHS Internship Program, and she's here, you were here with a student?
Yes, this is Shree Speedo. She's been, actually I've known Shree the whole time she's been in high school. But she was one of my interns this fall. I'm going to give you sort of some overview info about the program and some changes and developments. And then I'm going to let Shree share a little bit about her experience as an intern. Sound good? I press the forward button. Am I not hitting the right button?
Here you go.
There we go. So I was able to work with ed consultant Janet Smith a bit last summer and over last year to develop our vision statement, which I think is pretty straightforward, that we want to create opportunities for Arlington High students to experience learning outside the school walls, kind of one of our 21st century models, that they can find insights about themselves and about the learning experience via projects that contribute directly to the work site and the school community. So that is our official vision mission statement. The goals for students, we want students to participate in learning outside the school building. There is a lot of things to learn that are not confined to a desk and a classroom, as we all know. We want them to develop professionalism in a workplace setting. This includes demonstrating respect, effective communication, taking initiative, promptness, responsibility, kind of general skills. You'll see the settings are all very, very different. So we kind of had to come up with general workplace skills because the sites are very different where the students work. We also wanted them to develop the more intangible personal characteristics of self-confidence, self-knowledge, perseverance. Ooh, looks like my spacing got a little funny there, and appreciation for opportunities. So a couple of changes and updates. The program is in year 5. I'll have it up on the slide in just a minute. But we expanded a lot of options. It was our largest year yet, this current year. It's generally speaking a fall program, but we have students stay on into the spring. So we ended up with 39 students in the fall, and I currently have 14 that are staying on in the spring. So we wanted students to have a broader range of experiences. It typically had been sort of a very high-level, very honors-oriented program, and that was wonderful, and those kids were having great experiences. We also wanted to broaden it to kids who maybe that wasn't necessarily the first thing they were looking for, or maybe they didn't fit the typical profile and they were looking for other types of work experiences. And so they discovered there's a lot of great things in Arlington and the surrounding communities. One of the other things that's been a really great find is how many opportunities there actually are within the Arlington High building. I couldn't believe how many people who said, yeah, I could use an intern for this and this and this, and the number of students we were able to place right in the district, either in the building or very close nearby, was really great, which made it really easy, or significantly easier for me to supervise them as well and communicate. So that was kind of a nice win-win going around. In 2013 to 14, there were about 18 participants. We had a little dip in 14-15 to 11. In 15-16, we saw 23. This year, we started with 41. We did finally end up at 39 due to various reasons for attrition, scheduling primarily, and how the kids' schedules were changing over time. So I did finish with 39, but we did start with 41. Projected for next year is between 28 and 39. I actually think it's going to go up. It's a little early to tell because juniors are getting all their course selections in. And so I have 39 total, but some of those have that as an alternate choice. And also not all juniors have their course selections in. And generally speaking, I usually get about an extra 5 to 6 over the course of the summer and early fall. So I do anticipate us going up a bit. And teenagers are sort of a lot of power of personality. And this past year, I wasn't teaching juniors, whereas the year before I was. So it was really easy for me to walk up to a kid and say, hey, I know you're going to love this. This is going to be great for you. But I didn't have quite as many of those relationships this year, which made it a little harder to do that recruiting, because a lot of times kids really respond when an individual says to you, "This, I know this is for you." But I still am pretty excited about the students who signed up, and the things that they're interested in. What I have here is just a listing from our presentation night. I had them all take a selfie at their job site and then give a little brief summary about what they do there. So there's a whole variety of things here. I'm going to forward it up to Shree Speedo, and I'm going to give her the mic to share a little bit about what she did. So let me see if I can get yours here. They're kind of not in any particular order. They were just the order they came in, so we didn't alphabetize them per se. There we are.
Hi, my name is Shree Speedo. How are you? I was looking for an internship to do because I wanted to do something in computer science field, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I was taking computer science, honors computer science in high school. And I was like, we were like mostly doing coding, and I realized that I wanted to do something in computer, but coding was not my thing. So I went up to Ms. Konstantakis. She was my history teacher. I was like, do you happen to have any internships that has to do with like IT or any hands-on like technology internships? And she had like all these lists, nothing that had like interested in me. And so I went around Arlington and I found this cafe called Computer Cafe. And it was a perfect fit for me. I went in and talked to the head of the computer cafe there and got a little summary of like what they did. And turns out they do all sorts of things, like from like repairing computers to rebuilding computers. And there are like few clients that brings in like parts of the computers that want help with like building the computer parts. So in this internship, not only did I like learn to fix like few software malware problems, and also fix how like the corrupted hard drives, but I also got a chance to help them building a new computer system. So that was like something I really didn't know before, and I was very excited. And this internship also kind of like helped me with my college process program, like in searching for colleges. And having this experience, I realized that not only do I want to go to college that has like a great computer science program, but also the programs that will help me get good co-ops, research programs, and also jobs when I come out of it.
Yeah, it was, let's pull this over just to make sure it gets picked up. The Computer Cafe was willing to work with us. We gave them the requirements of the program, and the guys there were really excited to have her, and worked great. It was a good fit. Didn't they also have you doing websites? Weren't you designing websites?
Yeah, that was my final project.
Yes, she designed a website for a final project for, what, it was a restaurant?
Yep, restaurant.
Yep, so she got a lot of great hands-on experience, and if you need a computer repair and you can't get a hold of Francis or Dan in IT,
Do you have your number, please?
She's your backup lady for the job. So I think she had a good experience. And then, like she said, it's really nice when, we get to have that sort of connection where we can say like, oh yeah, I think I know something for you. But this one she was able to hunt down, and because it's local and convenient, it was a really nice match, I think. And you enjoyed being there. They liked having you. Because I go in and visit all the sites, and they were just raved and raved about Shree Speedo. So I knew they would, but it was great. So what can
Questions?
we answer for you?
Yep, Mr. Hayner.
What's the process of an organization like the Computer Cafe becoming a place for one of the interns? Do they have to fill out forms and query check and all that?
So what we do is we give them a form they have to agree to that they can meet our requirements. we considered doing the Corey forms and backgrounds. It's kind of complicated, though, because Computer Cafe has people in and out all day, and we obviously can't query all of them. So the students' parents sort of sign off that they know the student is going to be off-site in a non-Arlington high school location, and will meet people in the community that, will not necessarily be background checked. So that's sort of a component of the internship that we know is not really manageable. But I go and visit all the sites, usually in particular a new site before we place a student, just to make sure it's a safe environment. Now, I'd been in the Computer Cafe. I had felt like it was, a perfectly fine and respectable business. If somebody said, my uncle runs a print shop in his basement, and, I might feel a little bit more uncomfortable, but there have been a lot of folks who've got in touch with us through the Chamber of Commerce, et cetera. And we've been able to, I usually meet with the person one-on-one, talk about their expectations, what they'd like, and try to match them up with what we can offer, and tell them about, what our student would likely come with. I mean, I've had requests for, they said, oh, can you send me somebody from your accounting program? Well, unfortunately, we don't have an accounting program. It's just not a great match. But more often than not, we've been able to match a student with the needs of a local business.
Thank you.
Dr. Seuss.
Are you able to place any student who's interested, or do you have too many students requesting it? given the available
I have
placement
not
slots?
had to turn anyone away. They do fill out an application. They have to, sign up for it as part of their schedule. So this goes in as a class, and it's their G block, their last period of the day class. And that allows them to leave the building early, presumably to go to that site. Although some of the sites, the students actually don't report for particular hours. So I have a few like town organizations, like nonprofits, like the Tio Cinte's Sister City Project. That does not have specific hours. The student just works 5 hours per week and meets individually with the coordinator. Same thing with the 2020 Diversity Task Council. I think I'm remembering their name. Task Force, thank you. Again, that's work at your own pace and then meet with the leadership. So I haven't, the only case when I haven't been able to place a student is when they've wanted a really specific type of internship and we just aren't able to get one. But at this point, we've not overgrown what we can offer. It's just that sometimes a student really wants to be, like we place students at the police, I've placed a student each semester at the police department, but they can only take one. And if I have another student who really wants a police department, we've tried Cambridge and Somerville and Medford, and they don't jump for Arlington High kids, unfortunately. They jump for Medford High and Somerville High kids, et cetera. So only in those kinds of cases can we not place someone usually. And their guidance counselor also sort of has to agree that they have a schedule that can manage it. I have told kids, you're playing a varsity sport, you have a job, you have a full slate of AP classes. I'm not sure an internship is sensible. And, they have to kind of make decisions about what makes sense for them.
A question, it's the hours, it's 5 hours a week generally for the
Correct.
internship? It's during this part of the school, they leave early some days, or it just depends, the schedule varies per student?
So most students get it scheduled as their G block. There were a few exceptions, so.
Last period of the day.
The last period of the day. There were a few exceptions. I had a few students this year who were taking AP statistics. There's only one section, it meets G block. So what we did is we scheduled it at their F block, which is the second to last period of the day. They got that period sort of free, and on one day that meant they got to leave early because that would meet last period on that day. And that sort of compensated for the time that they would be doing their internship. And most of those kids had internships that were flexible, like with the Sister City Project or something that didn't require them to show up. Or a few of my kids have weekend internships. They interned at, I had a student at the Kennedy Center for the Senate and a student at the aquarium. Both of those are weekend. So, their schedules didn't necessarily require them to go at, 3 p.m. or 2:30, et cetera.
And there's always some kind of project at the end of the internship? Everybody has, that's part of the requirement of the program?
Yes, so there's a final project that sometimes there's other schools that call it like a give back project. And so it's something where the student does something that supports the site and also helps them learn the components of the job. So when Shree was doing the website, that was a customer of the business that needed a website. So she's learning how to develop a professional website and supporting the business and learning a component of the skills for that business. So it's something along those lines. A lot of times the kids are like, am I going to have to come in with a big poster and no, it's not that kind of project. It's a project that's specific to your site.
And are you part-time, full-time? What's your?
So I'm still teaching 4 sections of history, and this is a .2.
This is a .2, so it's 20% of your job.
Yeah, it's one class.
Okay, so I don't want to ask how busy you are. 'Cause
It's a lot. It is, there are certain times that are higher busyness than others.
I got it, okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I was really impressed by the great selection of places. And I'm wondering, you talked about how you're getting some of them, but I'm also wondering, do we send out thank yous or like a certificate that they can put up or something? Oh,
Do
great.
you want to tell them about?
Yeah. Yes, so at the end of the internship, there was a big ceremony where our host sites, the main directors or whoever would come over at the ceremony, and Ms. Konstadakis gave each of us students award, and also an award to the host sites that they could put it up, and also I think was it like Arlington High School bag?
Yeah, we give them a little tote
Yeah,
bag.
a little tote bag as a gift to the sites.
And you wrote a thank you letter.
Oh yeah,
Everybody's
and we
wrote
all
a thank you
all
letter.
had to write a thank you letter as part of our assignments, and most of us also gave us like a small gift to the host site.
That's great. Wait, I can
course,
ask
yeah, go ahead.
one other. And then the other thing is, I'm hoping that there's I have a current 10th grader, and I'm thinking back to, yes. And I'm thinking back to when she was in 8th grade and they did the getting to know AHS thing. And there wasn't that much about this during that. And I'm thinking it'd be nice if there was more because, well, for many reasons, but I think it's something that the kids can get excited that, this is coming and is a reason to come to AHS. And
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Let me just slide it over so I pick up my voice. That is a great point. It has traditionally been a senior year only program, so often we haven't kind of marketed it that young, but it is sensible to let kids know that's an option. We also this year are going to take a few juniors, so we are bringing in some younger students to be a part of it. So yeah, that's a great point. It probably should be part of our orientation as, some of the options that you'll have as an upperclassman.
great, thanks.
Mr. Hanna.
Real quick, do you do a seminar with in other words, have them all get together periodically and let them know what each one is doing and how things are going to share?
Yes, but it's problematic. So at the beginning of the year, the first week of school, I kept all the kids during G Block, and we did like a orientation week, kind of training week. We may change the model of that just a little bit next year, but we'll probably do something similar. And then at different points, call them in for meetings. But because their internships are so differently scheduled, and like I said, some students actually don't even have that same period free, it's problematic. So usually what happens is I'll schedule 2 or 3 in the same week, and I'll say, you need to come to one of these sessions. And it's usually a check-in with some updates about projects coming in and sharing a little bit. It's pretty hard to nail them all down in one place.
I was just thinking back in student teaching, we'd get together periodically, and one of us might have a problem with what we were doing,
Yeah,
the
like
others
this.
had success in dealing with it, and it was much easier to hear from a peer
Oh,
how they
sure.
resolve problems. So I'm just sharing that with you.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. It's
It's scheduling.
logistically problematic, but it would be worth figuring out. I agree with you.
All right, thank you very much for coming.
Awesome.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
We learned a
Thank
lot.
you. Have
All
a
right,
good
very
night,
good.
everybody.
A lot of clapping tonight. Okay.